Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lesson 3. Today, or in this lesson, we're talking about the Dryline and the How to Approach Storm Chase Targeting series/course. But first, the disclaimer. We're going to do this with every lesson in this course, and obviously, you can read it. Storm chasing is dangerous. Just remember, this is not to replace any type of official training that you may get. It is meant as a supplement. Anyways, today's lesson is dry lines. Why dry lines? Well, why would you target dry lines? First off, isolated storms. That's a big one. You can get clear skies to supercell either in a photo, looking at a supercell because they're so isolated, or just you'll have clear skies and then a supercell all within about an hour. It's pretty cool, the dryline dynamics. They're just fun. Photogenic all around. In my opinion, there's no more photogenic storm type than a dryline storm. Many agree with me. A lot of people refuse to chase anything but dryline storms. And yeah, it's just a classic storm chasing maneuver. In some ways, dry lines are easier to target as well versus other types of fronts, boundaries, etc. So anyways, things we're going to look out for on dry lines: dryline bulges, triple points, subtle upper air features, and good convergence. Let's go to dryline bulges. As you can see in this model image, this isn't a surface chart, but this is what you would see. This is an instability chart actually, but you see the warm moist air, you see it's bulging right here. The dry line should do something like this, but instead it's bulging. That's a very classic dry line bulge indicator. Now, what do you want to do with the dry line bulge? Well, first off, I tend to want to target somewhere in here, on the northern edges of it. You don't want to target down here typically. Moisture, instability, all that tends to be maximized. You also can get backing of winds through here, a little bit more southeasterly versus down here. So what ends up happening typically when you get a dryline bulge like this is the environment's just a little bit more maximized, and you want to target that, obviously, because who doesn't like a more maximized target? Now, the triple point. Same kind of thing as a dryline bulge in that sense, where a dryline bulge is down here. A triple point will happen where you have a stalled frontal boundary, or a warm front, or even a cold front. But anyways, there'll be a triple point, and then you'll have a dry line extending south from the front with the low pressure center there at the triple point. That low pressure center will back winds locally, enhance vorticity. Quite honestly, this area right in here is typically a tornado kind of city. On this particular day, on May 19, 2010, you had the warm front actually end up setting up the dry line in triple point set up right through here. You had tornadoes all across here, just east and northeast of the surface low. That's exactly where you want to target on a triple point. You want to be east to southeast to even northeast, just depending on the frontal orientation. You want to be where the winds are backed and things are magical. So usually storms will ride along those fronts and create all sorts of havoc. So let's talk about some help from above. Subtle upper air features. These could be small short waves, etc. When they coincide with peak heating, they'll help erode the cap. They'll cause storm to explode, even on what seems to be marginal days. Now, these are hard to see. Oftentimes, you got to really wait and look for them in the morning and see if there's anything out there. It's really hard to spy some of these, on a day where otherwise it doesn't look like storms are likely. But suddenly there's just cumulus forming along the dry line, etc. That's usually a good sign that things are getting going with heating, etc. And if you get a little subtle short wave moving through, you can get storms fire. Many marginal days you see this, and you see storms fire and even supercells. It's just something you have to look out for. Boom or bust days, they kind of oftentimes depend on some help from above, so to speak. Dryline convergence. Here's a surface map from a rather famous day. But dryline convergence is basically you're looking for winds, southwest or west and southeast. That's, you can see where winds are converging upon the dry line. Orientation of the dry line is important. If the dry line's oriented like this, there's not much convergence because the winds behind it are parallel. You want winds you don't want them perpendicular, so to speak, but you definitely don't want them parallel. When you see surface winds parallel to the dry line on either side, you notice convergence isn't going to be that strong. You want them to be converging in that area along the dry line, and that's exactly what you end up with on days where storms go boom. And when storms go boom, well, crazy things happen along the dry line. So let's sum up the dry line. If there's any cap whatsoever, storm initiation is going to hold off until mid or late afternoon almost always. You're going to depend on this convergence. You're going to depend on some help from above. But yes, you're going to have to wait till mid to late afternoon. Look for dryline bulges. These things can make or break a day. Typically you'll be able to see these coming from a mile away, and dryline bulges are just a favorite area where convergence is maximized. Same thing for triple points. You want to keep an eye out for them. An area of otherwise good low-level convergence because, well, let's just put it this way. You need lift along a dry line to get storms. Models are getting better at these days, it's really forecasting dry lines, but they still struggle with boom or bust days. You can sometimes still get storms in unexpected places along dry lines. Oftentimes that means they go a lot further south than you would realize, or they go on a day that doesn't seem to be I guess the best way to put it, that conducive. Models are getting better at it, and typically from my standpoint and from what I see, if models universally agree on storm formation, there will be storms. If models universally disagree and say no storms, there's usually no storms. It's those days which happen oftentimes where models disagree with each other. Some have storms, some don't. That you got to use the old-fashioned will storms go or will they won't. Well, you got to look at convergence, upper air, all that to see. So there's still skill involved here, but definitely models are a help. So the dry line, it's a wonderful place. Why dry lines? Again, I just want to end on this slide. Isolated storms, clear skies to supercell. They are photogenic. The best surface pattern, in my opinion, to chase. Unbiased, probably, but give me a dry line every day of the week. With tomorrow, or in the next course, I keep saying tomorrow, you're probably watching this binge watching. We're going to discuss triple points. And we're really just going to dive into triple points and talk about what you do with targeting them. So, we will see you next time.